Hello YouTube, this is a Pokemon battle between me and MetaNagato. I hope you enjoy. I lead off with my Drapion, while he leads off with his Hitmontop. I switch out my Drapion since I fear the earthquake coming, and I send out my Torterra to soak it up. And it takes it fairly well. Next I have my Torterra use Wood Hammer, which takes out the Hitmontop and does a pretty big chunk of recoil to the Torterra. Next he sends out his Chandelier. I switch out my Torterra fearing a fire move, and I switch out to Feraligatr. He uses a hidden power, which I don't exactly know since it wasn't super effective or not super effective. He uses hidden power again, which suspects him being specs or choiced in some way. And it brings me down to Torrent, which Torrent Waterfall takes down the Chandelier. Next, he sends out his Dragonite. I switch out my Feraligatr to use it later in the battle, and I switch out to my Drapion. He uses Ice Punch, which gets a crit and does a pretty big chunk to my Drapion. Next, he uses another Ice Punch, which almost kills my Drapion, but Drapion is kind of bulky in some way. I use a Cross Poison, which does about 25%, and then he uses another Ice Punch to take out my Drapion. Next, I send out my Feraligatr again. He uses Ice Punch, which Feraligatr resists, and is also a bit bulky, so it is able to take it. I use Ice Fang, which is 4 times effective and will most likely kill the Dragonite. Next, he sends out his Whimsicott. He uses Giga Drain, which kills my Feraligatr. Next, I send out my Torterra, since it can most likely wall this Whimsicott. And he sends out his Darmanitan. I use Crunch, since it is the only move that could actually hurt the Whimsicott on my Torterra's moveset. And I get the defense drop. He uses Flare Blitz, which takes out my Torterra and does about half recoil damage to him. And also gets a crit, which didn't matter as much. Next, I send out my Espeon. I use a Spec Psychic, which takes out the Darmanitan. Next, he sends out his Tangrowth, which also takes a Psychic and is defeated. Next, he sends out his last Pokemon, which is his Whimsicott. He tries to use Leech Seed, but it misses. I use a Psychic, and it does a pretty big chunk to Whimsicott, but it leaves it at a very low health. And then I use another Psychic to defeat it. Thank you. Rate, comment, subscribe, and also a link to my opponent will be at the bottom of the video. Thank you.